Guys, did you know that the COVID vaccine is still on the children's vaccine schedule? I shouldn't even call it a vaccine. We all know it's not a vaccine. The COVID therapeutic, that also doesn't really work that great, but okay. It's on the children's schedule in America, probably in a lot of other countries too. But right now I want to focus on America because, guys, it is Friday. It's the 9th of May, 2025. It's 8:45 in the morning in Germany here. This is the Insanity Report for today. I would like you guys to do all the liking, subscribing, and the posting, the reposting, the retweeting, the re-Xing, whatever, to help my content get out to other people. And if you want all of my content, including my articles, then the place to go is it'sallaboutlogic.substack.com. Subscribe there for free or for $5 a month to support me. Let's get into it. The COVID vaccine. I didn't realize this either because I thought now that RFK is in, I thought that the COVID vaccine would certainly not be on the schedule for children. And I actually was assuming, probably stupidly, that they would take it off the market completely because RFK, right? I mean, you would, like with Donald Trump. If Donald Trump gets elected a president, you expect that some people are going to be put in handcuffs fairly quickly and that there's going to be prosecutions for things almost immediately. Now, that has not happened, right? That has not happened. Surprisingly, it has not happened. I don't know why it hasn't happened. I'm pissed off that it hasn't happened, but there are valid reasons for why it may not have happened yet. We're going to have to wait it out a little longer. Now, you think the same thing about RFK, about all the talk the guy did about the fucking COVID vaccine, right? And all the things that we know now about the COVID vaccine, that at the very least, it would be taken off the children's schedule, right? You know, that's what you assume. You're like, okay, it's basically RFK's in. He's been in there for, I don't know, 2 months, whatever. It should be gone. This should, that doesn't take a law. It doesn't take Congress bipartisanship. That just takes RFK going, all right, get it out. You know what I mean? It's done. You know what I mean? The pharma industry doesn't control what the American government puts on the vaccine schedule. So, you know, unless you're worried about their profits, what is the reason why the COVID vaccine is still there? I keep calling it a vaccine. I'm very sorry. It's automatic. It's habit. Okay. I thought it was gone, right? And now I find out it's still on the schedule. Now, on the schedule, does that mean that the children are being forced to take this still experimental, non-tested, and tried product that is not a vaccine but masquerades as one? Not everywhere, but there are states like California that do mandate it. So that means the children have to take it, which is completely insane. We know COVID is not dangerous for kids, right? Especially small kids, right? We know COVID is here to stay. So what we've always done throughout evolution, what we've done is we've built up resistance to different kinds of diseases and things that come along on a regular basis, right? Through immunity. And instead of letting these kids build immunity, no, we're going to fuck their immune system up by giving them a shot they don't need because it's not killing them. And that has bigger risks of side effects that are going to be worse than if you get COVID. And still these drugs are being forced on children in America. That is crazy. That's crazy. And it's especially crazy since you've got RFK in the House, right? It's so disappointing. What is the reason? You know what I mean? Why? That shouldn't even be a thing. There should be even no discussion. After all of the campaigning that RFK has done about making America healthy and the COVID vaccine and the mandates, right? The therapeutic and the mandates. And it's still there. I'm going to have to research as to why. I'm very curious. Maybe somebody out there knows. If you know, comment below. You know what I mean? Please. Because I don't know. I can't think of a fucking good reason why it's still there and why it's still on the vaccine schedule for kids. You know, because doctors we also know that most doctors are getting a bulk of their money by pushing pharmaceutical products, right? And the COVID vaccine is one of those. And so do you think that there's doctors out there, a lot of them, I mean, there's probably some, but do you think there's a whole bunch of doctors out there that are advising parents correctly and telling parents, listen, you don't have to take it. The kid doesn't have to take it, right? In other states besides California, and there's probably a couple other blue states that mandate it, but I know California does. But do you think there's doctors in the other states where it's recommended, right? Do you think that doctors are telling parents, listen, guys, kids are not susceptible to death from COVID or any serious illness from COVID. The side effect, the treatment is still a new one. The mRNA technology is not the greatest delivery for this so-called vaccine. We know the vaccine doesn't work correctly. It's not really worth the risk for your kid to take this vaccine. So unless you're really like dead set on it, or your kid's got some sort of crazy comorbidity that he needs to be or she needs to be extra protected against this, then I would not recommend it. You think there are a whole bunch of doctors out there saying that? Well, maybe there are now. I don't think so. You know, in order for me to regain trust in all of these institutions and systems, including doctors and medical systems, I need to see proof over time that these doctors are working in the best interest of their patients and not in the best interest of big fucking pharma. And right now, I haven't seen any. You know what I mean? I haven't seen any. Not much, right? So I would not trust any doctor that recommends this for children. And yet it's being allowed. And RFK is letting it happen. I don't understand what is going on. You know what I mean? I have this discussion with some people all the time about the accountability and the things, and it's always their answer and their counter to my being upset that nothing is happening on certain fronts is always the same. It's always like, well, but dude, it takes time. You got to give them time. They've only been there for a little while. Blah blah blah. Okay, yes, they're right. I get it. I get it. But my counter to that is yes, some things do take time. Other things do not. Pulling the COVID vaccine off the market and making sure that Big Pharma doesn't earn any more money on a drug that they put out under false pretenses, right? And they fucked over the world because, you know, Operation Warp Speed was basically like, look, dude, you guys are going to make a vaccine that makes sure you do not get COVID and you can't transmit COVID, and it's going to be safe and effective. That was in the contract, right? None of those things were in the contract in Warp Speed. All of those things were in the Warp Speed contract, right? And none of those things happened. It's not safe and effective. It does not prevent you from getting COVID-19. It does not prevent you from transmitting it to other people. Basically, it's fucking useless. It is not what they got an emergency use authorization for. It is not what President Trump, back in the day when COVID started, was asking and contracted Big Pharma to do. He lifted a whole bunch of red tape and regulations so that they would make the product that we needed to combat fucking COVID with as little as possible side effects and, you know, no necessity for 100 boosters and all this other bullshit. Now, they didn't deliver that. They saw an opportunity to make mega bucks because they knew governments all over the world were going to pay for this fucking thing and force it on their people, or try to, which is what happened. Right? And they were like, shit, even though we can't make it, we got to pretend like we did. Right? We got to pretend like we did. And Trump will just fucking suck it up because Fauci's going to tell him it's a real thing and he's going to believe him. And that's exactly what happened. So they put a bullshit product on the market that, in my opinion, is causing probably more harm than good, right, overall. And they earn billions of dollars on it. And they're still allowed to earn billions of dollars on it because RFK is allowing this shit to still be pushed to people. So not only can people still get it voluntarily, it's still also on the market, on the vaccine schedule, for kids. That's totally crazy, people. That's totally crazy. Look, I'm sorry. I find that to be completely unacceptable, right? Just like I find it unacceptable that there's still no accountability for COVID and many other crimes and treasonous moves and likely illegal or at least job-losing actions that the Democrats and the left did over the years, over the past 10 years. I still want to see accountability for those things, also not seeing that, right? Now, that doesn't mean those things are not going to happen, right? That doesn't mean that the COVID vaccine probably won't get pulled at some point. But, why wait? What are we waiting for, though? You know what I mean? Why is it so important to allow this thing that we know is causing more harm than good and allowing it to be pushed on children? Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? Why is it still legal for doctors to perform child sex change surgeries, right? I mean, is there a law against that now? Well, I mean, there should fucking be. You know what I'm saying? There should be. But is there? So there are things, I'm sorry, there are things that this administration is, they conveyed these giant promises, whether directly or indirectly. People have certain expectations because of the people that are put in these positions, like RFK, Trump, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi. We have certain, okay, finally we've got competent people that know what they're fucking doing, and now shit's gonna start getting done. They're gonna crack the whip and shit's gonna start moving, right? And okay, on other fronts things have been moving, absolutely, right? No shade on that, right? But these are really important. COVID accountability, that vaccine being put off the market, not allowing it to be put out there anymore. That's not that fucking difficult. That doesn't take any time. You know what I mean? And if it does, please explain why. I thought that the FDA and the government decided what medications and what drugs are legal and illegal. I didn't think that anybody else decided that. If I'm wrong, please let me know. But if I'm wrong, then something is seriously fucked up about the system, right? Another giant problem that needs to be fixed. Look, I'm gonna remain patient, right? I'm gonna call it out when I see it. And if I turn out to be wrong on these issues, then I will come back and say I was wrong and admit that. No problem at all, right? But right now, I think that certain things, like this thing with the COVID vax thing, is just taking too long, and I'm wondering if they're even fucking with it at all, right? It seems more like they're trying to, play the middle. They don't want to piss off pharma too much, but they know they got to do something, and they're trying to come up with a solution. And my approach is, fuck what big pharma wants. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And who cares which Republican Congress people and senators get fucked, because then they won't have them as a donor. You know what I'm saying? That's not my problem. That's not the regular person's problem. That's a personal problem of theirs that they have to find a way to fix. They can't just profit off the backs of the American people and children's lives because of this vaccine, because they don't want to piss off big pharma. And that seems to be the only possible reason why this is still allowed to go on. It's unacceptable, people, right? It's unacceptable. And the fact is, until America breaks the dam on COVID about accountability and removing this vaccine from the market, countries like in Europe, like Germany, where I live, they're not going to ever follow suit. They're not going to ever do anything on their own. They'll follow America's lead. So again, we need America to step up and do what is right so that the rest of the world fucking does the same, right? So that Europe also goes, okay, well, if America's taking it off because they're afraid that it's killing kids, we can't leave it. You know what I mean? We can't leave it. So they're going to have to get rid of it. And that'll be a blessing for us. The people here and the Europeans in general, politicians especially, are weaklings. They don't want to stand up for anything. They don't want to rock any boats. They don't want to take any risks. And so they will continue to let all this shit go on forever and ever. America's going to have to help out. And I really thought RFK was going to be able to do it. Apparently not. I'd like to know the reason. All right, guys. Just want to let you guys know of the new insane thing, or the old insane thing that remains insane. So have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday. And don't let it get to you too bad. Don't be black-pilled. Still enjoy life. See what happens. Peace out.